Hello, hello. Happy holidays, everyone. We're back for another episode of Launch Codes Football. I'm Daniel,
And I'm Chelsea.
and we're hitting the mark. It's I guess technically it's week 16, going to week 17. Presents are underneath the tree. Fan bases are either raging at home or celebrating. What you can kind of guess which ones of us is celebrating, which one's raging. Um,
Yeah, probably so.
but no, this has been we I'm just happy that we've gotten like one of the best Thursday night football games, some one of the best was it Saturday night football games, some of the craziest Sunday game. It's just
It was a crazy week.
this week, and it's just the perfect time too. It's playoff time. It's time. Every win and loss matters. Every crazy non-call, pass interference penalty, 2-point conversion, all that stuff matters now. So these are our four biggest stories, games, and recaps from week 16. And we have to start with one thing. And my brother-in-law's not here. He's a big Ravens fan. And that Sunday night game, he texted me at close to midnight, just like enjoyed the division. It's congrats
He's
on
like,
the.
I give up.
And I'll say this: I'm a Steelers fan, so I was obviously rooting hard for the Patriots. I was rooting harder for the Patriots. I think I've ever in the hit in my entire life.
Did that feel wrong?
It it felt wrong, but I think it would have felt worse if Tom Brady and Bill Belichick was still there. But because I can try and say it's a new regime, it's something different, so you know. But no, it
No,
still
it's
felt.
not.
Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. But I'm just gonna let me just take a page. I raged over the Cincinnati Bengals and their terrible franchise. The fact that the Ravens lost this game, I'm like before in the throughout the season, I'm saying Mike Tomlin, he's done. This is Mike Tomlin's last season. Mike Tomlin is over. The Mike Tomlin is over party. First of all, who's laughing now? And second of all, can we
I
really
think Daniel is laughing now, just as an aside.
me and all the yinzers everywhere? But at this point, can we just say John Harbaugh, it might be time to step out, walk out the door. I cannot believe on the last drive of the game, or the last in the fourth quarter, they did not give the ball to Derrick Henry.
Like
Derrick
the last
Henry,
12 minutes, I think.
Derrick Henry personally ended my fantasy football season last night, and even I was saying, why are they not giving him the ball? Why is he just what they had? He 18 carries, 128 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yes, he fumbled. Guess what? He's still averaging close to about 10 yards a carry. And the fact that you had the ball with a lead, we're not going to give him the ball. Now you're down by a field goal. There's about 2 minutes left. You still have a timeout. You don't exactly need to score a touchdown this play. I get if it's in a passing situation that you might take him off the field because he's not like a CMC kind of running back. But you still have 2 minutes left. You can still run the football. He's averaging 10 yards a carry. And oh yeah, your starting quarterback's not playing. Lamar Jackson's hurt.
There's
He's out.
that tiny wrinkle.
And Tiny Winkle is my I wanted to okay. These are your two best players on your team. And for whatever reason, in the game for your life, for your season, your two best players aren't there. One has a good excuse, one has no excuse. This is the equivalent of, I'm going to kick it back old school, if like in the 2000 NBA Finals, and Shaq gets fouls out in the fourth quarter, and Phil Jackson said, Shaq fouled out. Kobe, stay on the bench. We're going to just take our best player off the court, in the still in the game for our lives. So, like, I'm sorry, like maybe it's been about 20 years. He's won a championship. He's a great, probably Hall of Fame coach. That's inexcusable. They have lost so many games where they're like the Giants of the AFC. They've lost a bunch of games when they had like a two-score lead. And at this point, it's you're about to it's over to me. It's over for Harbaugh. I think they just resign or have a mutual partings of ways and just move on because this was I'm not sure I was surprised I ranted this much. I just couldn't believe the fact that like he's your best player and your other best player is not playing. Why is he not on the field?
That's how I felt when Shane Steichen forgot we had Jonathan Taylor for 3 games. So I really empathize. I get it, honestly. I know you're the AFC North expert of the two of us here. I know that it's been a common historical trope that the John Harbaugh-led Ravens have blown an absurdly large amount of leads.
Oh
Not
yeah.
even just this season, just historically over the last 10, 15 years. Uh, and normally he gets a pass because I do think he's a really good head coach. Like, I don't think you're going to have many non-Ravens fans that are like, nope, don't want that guy coaching my team. You know what I mean? But like, at a certain point, sometimes you just need something new. And that might be the point that this franchise has reached, to be honest. I mean, keeping Derrick Henry out in a must-win game in your season with Lamar Jackson injured and not playing, how on earth do you pull him from the game? I understand that he fumbled. Like, you want to penalize him for a drive and sit him? Whatever. I get it. But a whole, almost an entire half of a
It's
half,
crazy.
I mean that's insane. And I would say that Derrick Henry has probably taken a step back at this point compared to last year, just statistically speaking, looking at what he did last year. But man, I mean, hasn't taken that much of a step back. I mean, how do you not even put him in? I don't even know who their third string running back is. Like some dude who's like 5'8", like 160 or something. I'm like, what? Why? And I think it was maybe it was in I think it was like the first quarter, maybe, or the second quarter when Henry was still in. I'm pretty sure there was a drive. They pulled him on the goal line and they put this other dude in. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this dude is like 5'9", 160, 170. Derrick Henry is what, like 6'4", 230 or something crazy? How do you do that? I'm not a Ravens fan by any means, nor a Patriots fan. But I was cheering for the Patriots in this game because my husband and my father are both in the playoffs and they both had or were playing Ravens players. They were playing against them. So I was cheering for the Patriots. But man, taking Derrick Henry out, that's like an amateur level move, which feels insane to say considering it's John Harbaugh.
I don't. I can't ever think of a time, barring like injury or just exhaustion, take me out, coach, where you just remove your best
I
player
would
from the
know
field.
about that.
Uh, Anthony Richardson was not your best player. He was,
No, but he did ask to be taken out.
no, that's fair. That's fair. But unless it's one of those two situations, and I get it for a running back, like if you get carry the ball 4 or 5 times in a row, you're like, okay, give me a break at this point.
Right.
Unless that's happening, you keep him in, even if it's just as a distraction, even if it's just as like a play action. I I watched it and I'm just like, well, first of all, I was happy, so I'm like, oh, nice job. But I'm also thinking, what's he
Yeah,
doing?
good job, Patriots, I guess.
It's like the old saying, like if you're doing the thing that your opponent wants you to do, you're doing something wrong. And trust me, the Patriots didn't want Derrick Henry to see the football.
That's Vrabel was probably on the sideline like, well, dang, this is going great for us, guys.
But that may have ended like Baltimore's playoff hopes, and who knows what happens the all season. But one team that's just like, man, I just can't believe how great this team's playing right now is Jacksonville. And I used to say I'm the AFC North fan, you're the AFC South person. I didn't expect to see this from Jacksonville. I didn't expect. I'm not surprised Lawrence is playing well. I'm surprised he's playing this well, and the team's playing. They beat offensively. They just over this. I saw them was the best defense in the league. Jacksonville made them just put up 35 plus on them. It was insane.
Yeah, no, that was a crazy game. I would say over the past 2 to 3 weeks, there's probably two players in the NFL who have, quote, officially arrived. The first one is Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, you know, against popular opinion, was really not ever a terrible quarterback. Like at
No,
his
no.
worst, he was average. Like he was never bad. He had some bad games, but he was never bad. We're not talking Anthony Richardson bad or, like people like that. Like he was never on that level, but he was never performing up to what he was supposed to be. I mean, he was the first overall pick. He was extremely hyped out of college. He had a ton of success in college. So, I mean, you expected a guy like that to be polished and come out and make an impact immediately. And over the first, what, he's been in the league, this is his sixth year or
Yeah, yeah,
something, I
about
think.
6 year.
Yeah, yeah. So over his first 5 years, like he has been fine. But I mean, he's been average. He's been slightly above average. He had that really crazy game against the Chargers in the playoffs a couple of years ago where he threw 4 interceptions in the first half and then came all the way back
I
and
don't
threw
know
like
how the
four
Chargers lost that game.
touchdowns in the second half.
How did the Chargers lose that game? That still doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. So it's like we've seen flashes of Trevor Lawrence. Clemson, Trevor Lawrence, the guy who was unarguably, one of the best quarterbacks in college football. But he never really put it together until this year. Not at the beginning of the year, but the last 2 to 3 games. I think the last 2 games, he's 10 touchdowns, no turnovers, at least no picks. I don't any fumbles. In the last
Yeah.
4 games, I think he's like 16 touchdowns to no turnovers.
I did not think
Like,
Jacoby Myers would be this big of an impact, but man, they gave him a
yeah,
contract already.
yeah. No, I mean that tells you exactly how much he's meant to this team. I mean, Jacksonville, generally speaking, historically has just been an anemic franchise, and they were showing, why they were that way because Trevor Lawrence wasn't very good with them. Like, if you watched Trevor in college, it was pretty evident that he didn't just lose all of his talent immediately. I mean, dude had to play through Urban Meyer. Dude had to play through nobodies at wide receiver. Dude had to play through other coaches forgetting they had Travis Etienne on the team and running Tank Bigsby instead of Travis Etienne. So he's put up with some obstacles in his career. But man, he has put it together. I think Denver is a top 5 defense. I didn't think they were the best defense. I think Houston has the best defense in football. Trevor Lawrence
Yeah,
lit them up. Like Pat Surtain was playing, Bonito was playing, like everyone was playing. He lit them up. Like it wasn't even close. And you have Trevor Lawrence on one side throwing 3 touchdowns, I think, and then you have Bo Nix on the other side throwing an interception. I think he may have turned the ball over a second time, or someone on the offense did. And that just kind of tells you about, the talent discrepancy that you're seeing. But no, I mean, it was a very impressive win, especially at Denver, at Mile High. Very impressive. I mean,
yeah,
that's a statement win. I mean, Jacksonville is
exactly.
probably the hottest team in football right now. As much as that pains me to say, and as much as I am sure that they will destroy us in the second game that we play against them, I do like Trevor Lawrence. It just pains me he's on the Jags because I can't cheer for him when I'm trying to win my own division. You know what I mean? But I really do like him and I admire him. I admire, he's a man of
Yeah,
faith. He is
yeah,
married, has a beautiful kid, and is super talented at football. I mean, he's got it all, and it's nice to see him finally silencing the haters, including from his own franchise.
exactly.
Like
And
he's showing he deserves this contract now because when he got paid, people were like, Jacksonville is stupid. And I was one of those people.
me too. But I think and I also like what you said, like I can't cheer for him. Like that's literally me with Ed Reed and Ray Lewis for the entire career. Like you guys are so awesome, but I can't just cheer for you. But
That's
Lawrence,
how I
yeah,
felt too.
but like 3 touchdowns, he ran for a touchdown. Lawrence has some bit of mobility. Jacksonville now in solid position to potentially take the #1 seed. The playoffs, the AFC could run to Jacksonville. And I think a big part of that, what you said before was is the fact that he came in with so much hype. Him and Andrew Luck was probably the 2 most hyped quarterbacks of just the past 20, 25 years. Honestly, since the 21st century, they've been the 2 most hyped college quarterbacks coming out. And the fact that Luck had a good career, it was short, but he had a good career. And Lawrence had moments, but it was never something that was lasting. And combine that with all the hype, that's when it became, unless you win me a Super Bowl or have like an MVP season, you're just always going to be a disappointment, which is almost the exact opposite of of Tyler Shuck with New Orleans, who everyone thought New Orleans was going to draft a quarterback. Everyone thought New Orleans was going to draft a quarterback last year, and this year everyone thought they were stupid for not taking Shador. Everyone thought they was like, oh man, they're going to be like getting Fernando or whoever. Okay, granted, it's against the Jets, and the Jets have not had an interception this year, which is the craziest stat I think in the
That's
history of
true.
football. How do you played Kirk Cousins? You played Dylan Gabriel. You played Tua Tagovailoa twice. You can't get one pick. But
Yeah.
Shucks still tore him apart. He's looked amazing. I'm not gonna say he looked amazing. He looks very good this year.
Over the past 3 to 4 games, he's really turned it on.
And I don't know if New Orleans like at this point, like he's cheap. You don't have to pay him for at the moment. Do you draft a quarterback, or do you just say, "Well, just roll him with Shuck and trying to build around him for a year"? I didn't expect this. I didn't expect the Tyler Shuck controversy.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect it either. I mean, at this point, I mean, he has won 3 straight starts in a row in his rookie year. He has won actually 4 games. just in total, I mean, he set a career high this past game with 308 passing yards and a touchdown, completing 32 of 49 passes. He threw for 209 yards in the first half. Chris Olave went off. I mean, again, it's against the Jets, but still, I mean, the Jets, as much as people like to clown on the worst NFL franchises, the dudes that play on these franchises are still better athletes than 99% of Americans. Like the
Yeah,
worst player on the worst NFL franchise would absolutely torch an average person. So, I mean, you're still playing against high skill, high level dudes, generally speaking. It's pretty crazy to see. Honestly, if I'm the Saints, I feel like the quarterback class is not as strong this year as it's going to be next year. I would try and take some pieces around him and see what you can make of him. Because if you draft some pieces and he looks decent next year, hey, I mean, you can continue building around him. And if you take some pieces and he looks terrible next year, the class in 2027 is going to be stronger anyway. There's going to be more prospects coming out. I mean, right now you have the big three for 2026. You have Fernando Mendoza, you have Moore out of Oregon, and then you have the Alabama quarterback. Those are like the big three right now, at least that have emerged so far. As the draft and stuff gets closer, there are always other
yeah.
guys that emerge, but those are the big three. I mean, in 2027, you're probably going to have Arch Manning. You're going to have Lenore Sellers, who went back to school this year. You're going to have a lot of guys that are coming out in 2027. So if I'm a Saints fan, I almost would rather just draft some more offensive talent and just see what happens. I mean, look at their running back, Dylan Neal. He's a rookie. He's really not that bad. I mean, he's had some good games this season. So I feel, future's looking brighter than Saints fans may have thought at the beginning of the season.
And honestly, this isn't exactly the strongest division either. So there's, even if
It's true.
you play like an 8-9 record, you can potentially win the division on 9-8 record because Lord knows no one had the Panthers winning the division this year, and the Panthers are the clear favorite to win the division. And at this point, I just stopped making everything. Doesn't Nothing makes sense anymore. I'm pretty sure Baker's hurt, but even then, it doesn't matter because the Panthers are about to win the division, and I'm less happy. I am happy, but I'm more confused. So like I I'm entirely confused. The only thing I
That's
know
funny.
at this point, I don't even know like is Bryce Young even good? Like, if we take Tyler Shuck or Bryce Young at this point,
Man, I mean, I feel like the committee is so out on them, especially on Shuck. But last week how we talked about the Panthers, how they had lost the week before, so they were going to win this week. Well, that's exactly what happened. So let me just read you their schedule, starting at week 1 all the way through where we're at now. So they went loss, loss, win, loss, win, win, win. Okay, this is where it gets crazy. Loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, and that's their schedule. Like they literally lose a game and then win a game. So obviously next week they're going to lose a game if the current trend continues. The Panthers are a strange team. I'll tell you what, though, they have a good defense. You would not think they have a good defense because it is filled with nobodies outside of Derek Brown and J.C. Horn, but they actually have a good defense. It's kind of crazy. And they have some talent on offense as well. I mean, Ted McMillan
is he rookie of
is
the
a
year?
dog.
Like he might be rookie
Yeah,
of the year.
yeah, at this point he probably is. I mean, he is really good. And he is really good even having drop issues this year. Like he has a little
Mm.
bit of a problem this year and that gets on Panthers fans' nerves, but with that, he's probably going to win rookie of the year. So, they definitely have some talent. They still need some more receiver depth around Bryce, I think. Some O line help. They really need a real tight end who can actually go out and stretch the field. But man, I mean, the Panthers, they just can't decide what they want to be. Like, are they good? Are they not? At this point, I'm leaning towards they probably are playoff worthy at this point, considering they beat the Bucks. But time will tell. I mean, the last two games are difficult. They have the Seahawks at home and then they're at the Bucks last two games. So I'll be interested to see J.C. Horn paired up against Mr. JSN. That'll be an intriguing corner wide receiver matchup in next week.
Well, like yeah, Seattle and Tampa at the end of the season. That's crazy. But
Yeah, it's tough.
it, I would want to say like, oh no, Oldney would probably have said, oh no, they're going to lose both games. But Tampa just hasn't been playing well, and I'm not sure if it's poorly coached. Todd Bowles' seat is fire hot at this point. If they don't make the playoffs,
Considering how they started, It
If they
goes
don't make the
five and
playoffs,
one,
he's out. He's out the door if they don't make the playoffs. They somehow miss
more
it,
likely than not.
and I think he has the same problem that you talked about before, like with not giving the ball to Jonathan Taylor. Give the ball to Bucky Irvin. Just like let Bucky run loose. But from one playoff team in the South that's very confusing to another playoff team in the South that's very confusing, the Houston Texans eked out a win against the Las Vegas Raiders. And as I say that, I was thinking is, how the heck are the Houston Texans eking out a win in Houston against the worst team in the NFL?
Arguably.
I don't even think it's argument. I think they're hands down the
Jets?
worst. I'm taking the Raiders, honestly.
Really?
The if you give me a healthy Jets team, because they're on the third string quarterback at this point.
That's true. If they, I mean, they have Garrett Wilson, they have some pieces on offense. I mean, that's true. And some pieces on defense. So I mean, that's fair.
But
The
like,
Raiders have Gene T and that's and Max Crosby. And that's
yeah,
about the extent
yeah.
of what they have.
Well, I
So
say this, Gentry always plays well. Max Crosby's a
oh,
beast.
and their tight end, obviously. Can't
Oh yeah,
forget Brock
Brock
Bowers.
Bowers. Yeah, that's right. So they have two great players on offense. Well, one great player, one player that you think is promising in Gentry, and one great player on defense. And for some reason, they had either leading or tied with the Texans the entire game.
I
Houston
really
really,
needed them to win, by the way. Thanks a lot, Raiders.
it was just, I just couldn't believe it. Stroud didn't look anywhere close to being good after having putting together a couple of good games. The one touchdown in the first half came on a pick six. So it wasn't like the offense moved down the field. The defense did the work. The defense, to be
Hmm.
fair, held Oakland. I keep wanting to say Oakland. They're always going to be Oakland in my heart. They held Las Vegas to only two really good Gentry touchdowns. So they held them down in the game. I think this was it was a win, but I'm looking at Houston in a whole different view because as great as that defense is, if that offense can't just be average, you should put up 25 easy on Las Vegas. And you couldn't do that. Like you put up, what is it? I think you had like one or two touchdowns. Stroud had like a fourth quarter, somewhat garbage time, somewhat like just put him out of reach touchdown.
Yeah,
I
it looks
would.
like statistically Stroud went 23 of 35 for 187 yards and a touchdown with a passer rating of 88.6.
He was not impressive. He wasn't that good. I don't like.
Also,
It's
4 carries for 0 yards, in case you were wondering.
Well, that's probably kneeing it down at the end of the game or something. But no, I'm just like this was even though they won the game, I'm looking at Houston clearly as a second tier playoff team, unless I guess they rebound big time the last two games. Because if you're going against Buffalo and that's the offense just throwing out there, if you're going against like the Chargers and that's the offense throwing,
Jacksonville.
if you're going against Jacksonville would demolish you if that's the offense to go. So no, they have to show me something in the next few games because that team's carried by that defense, but that defense isn't a historically great defense like defenses are that would be able to carry a subpar offense. So
Yeah, no, I feel like if we were national media personalities, my take last week of I have Houston taking the AFC South would be featured on Freezing Cold Takes after this week's performance. Um, Really hard to go against Trevor now with how he's performing. And Stroud just doesn't look as good, which is crazy considering how good he looked his first year. That offense is going to need to pull it together if they want to make the playoffs. Their defense, I think, is probably the best in football. It's going to come down to their offense. And usually, when you're a fringe playoff team and you make it in and it comes down to your offense, you're probably not going to make it that far. That's just kind of the reality. But at the same time, they are 10 and 5. I mean, they do have 10 wins. So it's not like they're an absolute slouch. That was a bad showing against a bad Raiders team. They need to rebound fast.
well, Dwayne Wade, well, maybe Strauss, maybe not the quarterback you need, but Pittsburgh looks like they have their quarterback for at least a couple more games.
Somehow.
It was awesome. Just really did. I think this was one reason why I got kind of annoyed with Stroud and Houston was the Lions. Their secondary got decimated for injuries. The
Both
defense
of their
is
starting safeties are out.
like it, and you know what? Pittsburgh had almost 600 yards of offense against them. Pittsburgh's not like an elite offensive team whatsoever.
No, they're not.
So the fact that Gainwell was running up and down the field, Bowers was hitting people in stride,
Warren,
Metcalf was hitting people physically in stride.
who got suspended for 2 games, by the way.
Oh, he got suspended.
2 games.
Oh wow.
Not just one, 2 games. I
They,
mean, that's a pretty big loss considering
it is.
he's your best receiver, and honestly, your receivers aren't that great, and that's
It's
not
a
saying much,
it's a
but
big.
still.
I say it would be a big loss if the Ravens won last night. The fact that all Pittsburgh has to do at this point is beat Cleveland. Pittsburgh, all you gotta do is beat Cleveland. I'm looking at you in
I
the
feel like you
mic.
feel about the way you feel about Cleveland is how I feel about a bad Jacksonville team. All you got to do is beat Jacksonville. Jacksonville, how hard is it? Oh, it's really hard. It's like
so,
actually impossible.
so because if he's suspended for those two games, and that's the rest of the season. He wouldn't be playing the last week of the season, which would be the Ravens game. If Pittsburgh lose, Pittsburgh, if Pittsburgh somehow loses, and the Packers lose to Baltimore, because that's the other thing. Baltimore has to win out and hope Pittsburgh stumbles. Has to lose the last two games. Um, that would then it'll be a big deal for him to be suspended. But if he's just suspended, they would rest him week 18 anyway. So, but
That's
no,
fair.
that was that was the most impressive win the Steelers had this year easily.
Considering we were both terrified last week.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was confident all the way.
Uh-huh.
But delete,
Sure. Go
but
back and
delete.
listen to last week's episode, guys.
We got delete tape. Even more than the Patriots game, because Patriots that was a more of a the Patriots and the Colts games. Those were the defense stepped up, the offense did the bare minimum. This was a game, honestly. The offense and the defense played elite, and just at the end of the day, it was just Boswell makes that field goal 99 out of 100 times, and the one
I
time
was shocked when he missed that.
I was awestruck. I was almost fell to my knees. So I was watching on my TV. I'm like, okay. I was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna score, and then yeah, all you gotta do is make sure you don't get the 2 point conversion. They score a touchdown. And why is it clanking? It clanked. Dang it. Okay. I was just like, okay, well, maybe that my heart's beating like an old Looney Tunes sketch, but it was just that last drive was so heart pounding. They had the two penalties. I'm like, oh no. And then they scored the touchdown. Like, oh no. And then they called back the touchdown because it was a pass. It was the receiver set a pick on them. And that last play, oh man, that last play was one of the craziest. The fact as soon as he got tackled, I'm like, oh yes, we won. Then he laterals it back, and I said, of course we're gonna lose that way because they lateraled it back to Golf running up, and who jumped in the end zone got flipped over for a touchdown. I'm like, oh no, that's how we lost the game. And I saw a flag. I'm like, that's gonna be a flag on the defense. And they said, no, it's a flag. All I can know, as soon as that game was over, I just turned off the TV and then had a drink. I'm not even gonna lie. I had a drink after that game. But like, this is
You're
too much
like, that was
stress.
stressful anyway.
That was easily the best win all year. It got even more so that the Ravens lost. I hate the fact that the Lions, this is second year in a row, in my opinion, that injuries ruined their season because they just can't stay healthy on defense. It's showing. Last year it
Nope.
was last year it was everyone. This year it was just the second year. That's more than enough.
And I mean, it's not just the defense this year. Laporta is out for the season. That's a very big
Yeah.
loss for them. I mean, Brian Branch and Kobe Joseph are both of their starting safeties both out for the season. Then when they were healthy, they were arguably the best safety tandem in football. So it's not like the GM didn't address needs. He did. They just can't stay healthy. Maybe hire a new strength and conditioning coach. I don't know, man.
That's not something we can really do, but somehow that's not even the craziest game of the year. Because then we go backwards in time to Sunday night to Saturday night with that Bears Packers game.
The Bears.
No,
Sorry,
it's fine.
had
No,
to.
it's fine. Go
I
crazy.
mean, how could I not after that? I mean,
I don't believe in the Bears, and they keep winning, and it's starting to annoy me. It's starting to really annoy me. Because every time I think they're about to lose, they get a two-point conversion, an onside kick. Caleb throws a fan over. Chelsea, you go. You're the Bears. You're apparently the Bears. Like the Pope. The Pope is doing his magic. The new
yeah,
Chicago
no,
Pope.
I mean that was a crazy game. And you're still gonna have fans that are not Bears fans that are gonna say, "Whoa, it took a final play like that to beat the Packers without Jordan Love and Micah Parsons. The Bears are totally not for real." You're gonna have people that say that. And I mean, to some degree,
I don't sound like
that is a
that.
fair critique. I mean, that's two of their best players, and Josh Jacobs got hurt. So
Yeah.
I understand. But at the same time, that was one of the best throws at the end of the game by Caleb Williams I've ever seen. like in my life. One of the best throws I've ever seen. That was amazing. He has it. Man, him and Trevor and Kyle Pitts, there's all kinds of dudes who are emerging this seemingly nowhere. Um, yeah, no, I mean that was a crazy game. Very impressive win for them. Um, yeah, I mean, when they caught the ball, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I mean, I don't even like the Bears, guys. Like, I still daydream about when the Colts beat Rex Grossman in the Super Bowl. Okay, I
So
don't
that's why I
even
like the
like
Bears.
them.
You like the Bears because they remind you of Pat. They remind you when you're Super
That might
Bowl.
be true, actually. But it's just nice to just see a really good team, you know, in a really big market in a really big city. You know, you have like New York where the Jets and the Giants are both terrible, right? But now, you have Chicago, who's also a huge market, and now look at them. They have a successful team right now. They have a franchise quarterback, even though they might not be the Chicago Bears for much longer. They might be the Fort Wayne Bears because they might be moving out of Chicago,
Yeah,
which is the
please.
dumbest thing ever. You cannot put the Bears in Indiana. That's
I'll
like a
see it.
crime. That's
I'll
just wrong, man.
I'll see that when I believe. Then again, they probably said the same thing about Cleveland back in the '90s. But you know what? I'll see it when I believe it. Is Ben Johnson just the coach of the year at this point? I keep wanting to give it a Shanahan because of all the injuries for San
Ben
Francisco,
Johnson is a dog,
but
dude.
it's probably going to be Ben Johnson.
Yeah, it's definitely not Shane Steichen at this point. I can tell you that much.
That
But
hurts.
no, I mean, you've seen the impact Ben Johnson has had not only on the Bears, but also on the Lions. You know, a lot of the times these NFL franchises are, able to recover from losses of coordinators with relative ease. I mean, they always affect teams to some degree, but normally they can replace them with people that they're confident in. I'll tell you what, dude, the loss of Ben Johnson might be the biggest loss that the Lions suffered this offseason.
Yeah,
That's
that
how much of an impact it's had on this team. I mean, they just look anemic without him. I mean, they forget that Gibbs exists, and then they come out and they score 40, and then they forget that Gibbs exists again. Like Jameson Williams like falls off a cliff and then has 200 yards 3 games later. Like, yeah, Ben Johnson was a huge loss for them, and it's showing. It's showing. I'm sure Lions fans miss him very much right now.
yeah, it got. The thing about getting back to the Steelers game, Gibbs really didn't run the ball that well. The Lions didn't run the ball that well. It was more they were more winning to passing games, screen passes and stuff like that. But yeah, I even though I say I don't believe in the Bears at this point. They are. Are they the number one seed in NFC at this point, or are they number
I don't
two?
think so. I think they're the
Oh
two. I think
no,
Seattle is the
yeah, that's
one right
right.
now.
Seattle. And that goes to our last topic. The craziest game of the week might have been was a Thursday night game, the first game of the week.
Which is crazy because normally the Thursday night games are horrible.
Not this time. This time we got a real slugfest, and after all said and done, I still think the Rams are better. I still think that was. I give credit to Sam Darnold. He went from seeing ghosts to killing off the Rams. So from seeing ghosts to creating ghosts, which is good for him. Puka Nakua and that entire Rams offense still look like unstoppable, close to unstoppable. That
They also
defense,
didn't have Adams in that game,
that's which was a big deal. The fact that stupid 2 point conversion happened makes no sense. I still think it was just like that happened. I'm like that shouldn't count. That makes that
according to the rules.
that
I
that follows
mean,
the letter of the law. That does not follow the spirit of the law. I saw that and said, "Oh, you got to be kidding me."
that was crazy though. That was probably one of the craziest plays I've ever seen, generally speaking, like in my life of watching football. That is why, kids, you never give up on the play because that could happen. Don't give up on the play, kids. Life lessons.
Exactly. There we go. And I'm surprised the Rams were able to close out the game, but I have to give credit to Seattle's defense. That was just a heavyweight boxing match. That was Ali Frazier right there. Those were to me the two best teams in the NFC. But I still think the Rams are just slightly better. Maybe if they had Adams definitely would make a difference. Some crazy 2 point conversion would have made the difference. And the fact that Seattle, when they drove down the length of the field after giving up a touchdown in the overtime, scored a touchdown, and then with the 2 point conversion, that to me, that was beautiful football. And I think at the end of the day, I think what I said before is when you have two equal teams, I'm picking a team with a better quarterback. And I think
Yep.
and
Daniel's rule.
Stafford had the better game, but it's just it came down to whoever had it was one of those things like whoever had the ball last is going to win the game. because man, that was a game for the ages. I'm happy I stayed up and watched that game. I wasn't even upset. I only got 5 hours sleep. Only 5 hours of sleep that night.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. I mean, so often the Thursday night games are just bad, and half the time they shouldn't be. Like the matchups should be good, and yet they're still bad. Like what is the probability of that happening? But man, when people saw that one on the schedule this week, they knew. They knew it was going to be a big one, and a big one it was. What a great game.
Man, that was the and that's so unfortunate that the Christmas games aren't going to be the Christmas
I
games.
know they're on Netflix this year.
I say not only that, just teams playing. The Chiefs
I
are
know
playing.
with
It's just
Mahomes hurt. Yeah.
the Cowboys out the playoffs. All these teams, it's like everyone thought they look so good on paper, and then I looked at the schedule and said, I guess this is gonna be another NBA game day for me.
Yeah, or Christmas movies on all day because the NFL games are probably not going to be great.
But yeah, we're hitting the end stretch. It's almost Christmas Day. It's almost 2026. This is gonna be our one podcast this week because it's gonna be on Tuesday, and the second one's usually on Thursday. And spend the day with your family. It's Christmas Day. Spend the day, go to church, watch some football, open them prayers, go caroling, have a Twee and Gale time on that merry holiday. Chelsea, tell us where you can find us on the days after the 25th.
Yeah, so thanks for listening, guys. Tune back in next week. We'll be back with our regular 2 episode schedule next week. In the meantime, follow us on our social media. Keep up with all the games this weekend. And in the, days prior, you have, Christmas games, everything like that. So follow us on our social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at Launch Codes Football, on Twitter/X at Launch Codes FB. And if you're interested in joining our Chat BCC chat room/group thing, definitely hit us up on our socials or in our DMs and we can send you the link. Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas. My name is Chelsea.
And I'm Daniel. Joyous Noel and Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad.
Okay, I'll see you next week.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Bye.